Hello everyone and welcome to a game called Dr. Morgan's Counseling Session. Since my actual name is Morgan, this game directly spoke to me, like specifically. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it. Let's start and go next, says the receptionist. You're snapped out of your daze. Ah, right. Counseling. You step forward to the receptionist, wallet in hand, because that's all it does is take away your money. A plastic insurance card lies between your index and thumb as you dart your eyes around, avoiding eye contact. Are you ashamed of being here? Name? What is your name? Well, my name is also Morgan. Screw you. Morgan. Checking it. You say hesitantly as you slide the card out and slide it across the table. The receptionist lets out a huff, or is it a sigh, and takes the card. This is your job. Do you sigh at everybody who makes you do your job? Because that's a little rude. Your keyboard clicks loudly as they tap in your information. Your hands get your debit card ready for the OPay. You rehearse the words you'd say when you ask for payment, the exact movements you make, the PIN number you type after, and... Alright, you're all checked in. What? You look up as your insurance card is handed back to you. You fumble with your wallet as you put your insurance back into its slot. You calculated everything you had to do before you walked up there, so... Do you have, like, severe anxiety or something? You nervously shuffle your feet, waiting for the receptionist to ask for you to pay for your visit, but they'll call you up when they're ready. Is there anything else I can help you with? Despite their words, they're not even turned towards you, sorting through files instead. Ah, no, it's nothing. I just got a free session, boys. Let's go. You duck your head down and turn to find a seat in the waiting area with your debit card still inched between your fingers. Do not discuss the missing payment with your therapist. Let's not do that. Why hadn't they asked you to pay like always? A pit began to form on your stomach as you sat down. Fidgeting with your debit card, you ultimately decide to put it away in pocket wallet. It's entirely possible that your insurance just covered the visit in its entirety, right? However, despite being a frequent visitor here for over a year, this had never happened. Not once. The time went by as you rested your hands on your knees, taking in the details of the ceiling. After a restless silence, the door to the office opens. Morgan? It is I, Dr. Morgan. Morgan? The voice is unfamiliar, causing you to hesitate for a moment. That isn't my counselor. You look around nervously, your gaze falling on the receptionist from earlier. They catch your eye and raise an eyebrow before going back to their paperwork. Anxiety starts to gnaw at you as you tighten your grip on your knees. I'm getting a bad feeling about this. I could just straight up leave. Okay. Well, will this end the game? Okay, let's do it. This is way too much. You decide to leave and reschedule your counseling session. Getting up, you walk for the doors and into the parking lot. You can't shake the feeling of being watched as you unlock your car. Goosebumps rise along the right ape of your neck once you lock your car. Did you lock the doors before leaving? Was someone waiting for you in the back to kill you? Paranoia gets the better of you when you check the back seats, just in case. Nothing's there. Of course there's nothing there. You locked the doors when you left your car. No one could have gotten in without smashing a window or something. You start your engine and begin to drive out of the parking lot. As you pass by the entrance of the office, as you spot a man smiling at you in the window, a chill runs down your spine. He smiles as he watches you leave. You quickly look away, focusing on your driving. Your grip on the driving wheel tightens. You felt sick. The pit of your stomach had only grown, anxiety and paranoia clawing at your insides, wanting to escape. You could feel bile rising in your throat, but you kept it in. It seems your counseling will have to wait another day, because your counselor didn't even make the appointment. Ending 1. You rescheduled your appointment. There are 4 endings, so let's go ahead and get another one by entering straight into the trap. Let's go! Morgan, you here? The door opens a little wider. You got up and walked over, entering the office. Yes, I'm here, and all that stuff. You're greeted by a man with blonde hair and lively brown eyes. Oh, his face just says obsession to me. All you have to do is take one look at it, and immediately you feel a little bit unsettled. Look at those eyes, man. Piercing eyes. Here we go. Oh, splendid. Right this way. He leads you down the hallway. It's an uncomfortably long walk with a couple of turns and down some stairs. Have you been here before? 'Cause I feel like you haven't. You had no idea the office building was so big. Yeah, you had never ventured this far in before, so why are you doing it now? The man walked it with a brisk pace, occasionally looking over his shoulder with a smile to make sure you were keeping up, because he wanted to make sure his prey wouldn't get away. Obviously. His pace as well as the distance you were walking started to tire you out a bit. He slowed down and walked next to you. Okay. How are you doing today? The question made you jump. I'm okay. You weren't sure of the answer yourself? You picked up on your tone, nodding. The silence that settled between you two felt awkward. Eventually, you both stop at a door. The unfamiliar man took out some keys and thumbed through them, looking for the right key to unlock the door. You took this time to look at the door. Strangely enough, it didn't have a nameplate like all the others. It was blank where the name should be, as if the writing had been recently rubbed or cleaned off. Ah, there we go. His voice snaps you out of your observations. He's holding the door open, waiting for you. The room is dark. Also, why would the receptionist let this happen? Is this like a double team here? Because I feel like if some random person were just wandering around the office building, something would be said. But okay. The pit of your stomach rose, anxiety gnawing as you step into the room. The light withdraws as he closes the door. The air is cold, sending a chill down your spine as you squint to try and make sense of your surroundings. Oh, I forgot to turn on the lights. How silly of me, he says with a feather-light laugh. His voice echoes around the room. Suddenly, lights flood into the room. Run, run, run. And can I not express this enough? Run. Look at this room. This is unsettling all by itself. Completely blank and empty. It's not comfortable at all. It's very uncomfortable. It looks like an interrogation room, in fact. What the? The room was almost entirely empty, save for the plastic table and some metal chairs. Concrete walls and pillars surround you, metal pipes running along the ceiling. You're definitely underground somewhere. Geez, you didn't have to take me all the way down here just to have this counseling session. This is the most certainly not your counselor's office. You should have known that from the fact that you went all the way into the building that you've never been into before. Like, I feel like you would know if things were familiar. Obviously, this is an unfamiliar situation, which is why I'm still questioning why you're still here, but okay. Before you could say anything, the man walks in front of you, fidgeting slightly. He seemed to be a bit embarrassed. A slight blush dusted his cheeks as he shyly avoided eye contact. Sorry, my budget isn't big enough for a for furniture in my office, he says, sheepishly guiding you to the table. Office? What office? They left you in the sticks, my guy. They're practically throwing you out. Your budget is the least of my worries right now. Wait, sorry, this isn't my, you say, stepping away from the man. He gives you a puzzled look before smiling again. Oh, I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Oliver Morgan, 26 years old. Though, since you're my patient, and that will be Dr. Morgan. Morgan is just fine, though, he says, reaching out to shake your hand. You pull away, holding your hands close to you. No, that's not what I was going to say. You aren't my usual therapist. I think there was a mistake. I have to go. The smile falls from his face. Through his eyes, though his eyes still have a glint to them. You turn your back on him and towards the door, and you begin to turn the handle, except it's locked, isn't it? What? You jiggle the handle again, and it doesn't turn. Why is this locked? Did you lock the door? You turn around to look at him. Morgan is uncomfortably close, standing 2 or 3 feet away, leaning forward, and his breath is really not that great. He should really stand back. His face was a few inches away from yours as he boxed you in with one of his arms. A calm smile was still plastered on his face. Can you, slap his face, too? So there's, a handprint next to his, calm smile. So you can get away, actually. Though it seems like his expression was starting to falter. Morgan, come on. Just take a seat and He reaches for you again. Oh, yes, I said punch his lights out, and you already know what I'm gonna do. Let's do it. You push him away before winding your arm back and sucker punching him right in the face. Morgan falls to the floor with a thud. Well, that was easy. Kneeling down, you shove your hand in his pockets, grabbing the keys. Turning back towards the door, you go through the keys and try them one by one. With each passing moment, you can feel your heart rate pick up. Are there so many damn keys? The one you want is the one with the blue rhinestones. Oh, thanks. Wait, what? You turn around and Morgan is standing up, rubbing the side of his head. That hurt. I didn't think you could punch so hard, he murmurs before smiling at you. Dude, quit smiling at me, and quit underestimating me. You're just a creep all around. You put the keys in between your fingers as a sort of key-knuckle weapon. Morgan stares at you, tilting his head. Let me go, let me leave. You can't stop your voice from shaking. Morgan takes a step forward. You lunge at him, aiming for his stomach. He grabs your arm with ease, yanking you down. The momentum sends you hurling into the door. Bro, we almost had him in the first half. You groan, trying to straighten yourself up. The grip you had on your keys loosened. The keys sitting loosely in your palm now. That sentence has the same meaning twice. It says the same thing twice. Morgan kneels down, taking the keys off your hands and putting them back into his pocket. Now then, where were we? He says with a smile. You sit up, looking at him fearfully and disoriented. Morgan reaches a hand out for you to take. Left with no other option, you take his hand. He helps you to stand up and steady yourself, his other hand hovering on the small of your back. Morgan gently takes your hand and leads you to the table, seating you in an uncomfortable metal chair. He sits across from you, a small clipboard and a file set on the side of his table. Morgan takes a second to grab something from under the seat and rubs it on his face. When he turns to face you again, the injury you left him is mostly gone. You nervously stare at him as he organizes the table. Morgan notices your stare, and you blush a little, before coughing and grabbing the file. So what we have to go through all this stuff for, huh? So, anxiety, huh? He says, flipping through the file. Yeah, and it's also anxiety. Wait, anxiety, none of your fucking business. How about that? Was he seriously gonna try to be your counselor? Is this guy even licensed? So, tell me about it. What makes you so anxious? I don't know, what makes your face so ugly? I'm sorry. Listen, this guy's not doing a good thing, so I'm allowed to roast him for a long time. You give him an incredulous look. What makes me anxious is that there's a guy pretending to be my counselor and not letting me leave. Morgan just smiles and sets down the folder, clasping his hands together. I can see that you're hesitant to trust me, he begins, carefully choosing his words. But all I want is what's best for you. That's why I locked you in this room and made you uncomfortable. I just want the best for you. I want to help you, Morgan. His tone is earnest as he speaks. You grit your teeth, crossing your arms and furrowing your brows to try to seem intimidating. How can I trust you? I don't even know who you are. I come here expecting my usual counselor, and then you show up, lead me into, what is this, a parking garage? It's my office, he corrects you. Yeah, your quote-unquote office. That's under a building and surrounded by concrete walls. I told you they didn't give me much of a budget, he mumbles. Whatever this place is, you bring me here and you lock the door like a maniac. Morgan frowns a bit, playing with the edge of the paper on his clipboard. Looks like he had nothing to say about that. What's even on that file you have? You ask, reaching out. Morgan pulls the file away, holding it out of reach. It's your information. I'm your counselor now, so... haha. I don't think I have to accept anything. I'm gonna refuse his help completely. Like hell you are. Give me it. You stand up and try to grab the file again. You catch the edge of the file, pulling it towards you. The contents came loose and spilled onto the table. Pictures of you scattered on the table. They're all small Polaroids, each labeled with a date and a description of the face or expression you were making. What the hell is this? What is all this? You say, picking one up. You look at Morgan, who's staring impassively at you. The glint in his eyes have vanished. Pictures of you, obviously. Don't touch them so carelessly. They're pictures of me. Let me touch them however I want, he adds, reaching into his pocket. You back away, fearfully, dropping the photo. Morgan simply takes out a pair of gloves, slipping them on. He picks up the photos carefully, organizing them and placing them back into the file. Once they were back where they belonged, Morgan sighed, running a gloved hand through his hair. Ugh, my head hurts. It's probably because I gave you a nice good punch to your head earlier. He looks tired. You probably knocked him out of this time. Looks like I'll have to go for Plan B, he says, reaching under his seat. Plan B? Your chest tightened with anxiety as you backed away from the table. Yep, honestly, we could have done this the easy way, but what a shame. Morgan walks around the edge of the table, fastening a mask on his face. A cloth hangs out of his pocket. Now then, hold still, will you? He says, taking the cloth in one hand before lunging at you. He's on top of you in an instant, your hand gripping his wrist, keeping the cloth away from your face. A slightly sweet scent wafts towards you. You can't read Morgan's expression because there's a mask over his face, but his eyes darken at your resistance. He wasn't expecting you to struggle this much. Managing to push him off, you crawl towards the door to try and get away from Morgan. A hand grips your ankle, yanking you backwards. Let me go! You shriek, kicking him in the face as hard as you can. Morgan lets out a grunt, and you kick him square in the face, his grip on your ankle loosening. You quickly pull away and stand up. Not wasting this chance, you tackle him to the floor, grabbing the cloth you shove of it under his mask. He shoves you off him, standing up and ripping the mask off. Morgan seems dazed as he staggers, holding himself up with the table. Whatever he put on his face earlier wore off, exposing his injuries. That's seriously hurt, he mumbles before collapsing. Yeah, you should really think about pain before you decide to attack me. Hopefully, for good this time. You approach him, checking to make sure he was actually knocked out this time. Morgan was definitely knocked out. Glad to confirm it. Grabbing the keys, you find the one with the blue rhinestones and unlock the door. You run out, finding an exit as fast as you could. You run past the receptionist, who gives you a questioning look as you leave. Quickly spotting your car, you unlock and jump in, making sure to lock the door. And in none of these games do we ever call the police. Turning the engine on, you grip the steering wheel tightly as you sped out of the parking lot and away from the office. Ending 3. Escaped counseling. And I'm never coming back either. So let's go ahead and go back and stay still, because why not? Morgan gently takes your hand and leads you to the table, and putting you next to a uncomfortable metal chair. Let's just accept him as our new counselor and then welcome him into my life, why not? You sigh, letting your arms fall to your sides. You were too tired to argue anymore. You know what? Sure, you're my counselor for today. Why the hell not? I don't care anymore. Everybody can have my personal, private thoughts at this point. Morgan's face immediately lights up at your words, his smile returning. I'm glad you accepted me. That makes me really happy, Morgan. Did he have to say it in such a creepy way? Morgan clears his throat, his gaze suddenly serious despite his smile as his romantic concoction is coming together. Well, let's begin, shall we? He says, leaning forward a little. What's been bothering you, Morgan? You gulp. You still feel hesitant to tell the stranger your problems, and rightly so, but it had taken you a while to truly open up to your usual counselor as well. Hopefully Morgan wouldn't be too upset if you end up clamming up. Well... And here's a detailed list of everything I'm going through right now. A sigh escapes you as you lean back in your chair. You had explained the surface issues of your anxiety. Morgan had listened intently, occasionally jotting down notes and offering surprisingly insightful advice every now and then. He was truly kind and understanding. It was like he knew you for a long time. Yeah, a lot longer than you think. Actually, now that you think about it, had you seen him somewhere before? Dr. Morgan, you begin, but his mumbling cuts you off. I see, so that's how it is, he murmurs, his eyes scanning its notes he took. You shifted uncomfortably in your seat as he took a moment to read over his papers. Even though he was caring and helpful, this was as much as you were willing to tell him for now. I feel like there's still some things that you're keeping from me, but... What? Your hands nervously play with the hem of your clothes as he speaks. It looks like our time is up, he says, standing up. Huh? What? Did you want to talk more? His voice is playful as he pushes the chair in. No, that's not what I meant. You stumble over your words as he walks over, holding a hand out to you. You take his hand, and Morgan helps you up, his hand ghosting over your lower back as he walks you out the room. I'm your counselor, remember? He reminds you as he guides you up to the stairs and down the hallways. I'm always here to talk if you need to. Right. Yeah, I guess you are, you mumble. The carpet patterns suddenly look more interesting than Morgan's face. Wait, does that mean I'll be seeing you again? You can feel Morgan's eyes on you, his laugh echoing down the hall as the two of you walked. Of course. A silence falls on you two, and the gears in your head are turning. You had lots of questions. However, when you opened your mouth to ask about something, Morgan had opened the door to the reception area. You look back at him, and he simply smiles. See you soon, Morgan. Yeah, see you soon, Dr. Morgan. You too, Morgan. And you, Morgan. And I'll see you back at it again, Morgan. You set up a follow-up session with the receptionist before leaving. As you walk to your car, you can feel eyes boring into the back of your head. You can't shake the feeling of being watched as you unlock your car and get in. Goosebumps rise along the nape of your neck as you get settled into your car. Paranoia gets the better of you, and you completely check out of there. Nothing's there. Of course there's nothing there. I locked my car, right? You start the engine and begin to drive out of the parking lot. As you pass by the entrance of the office, you spot Morgan smiling at you in the window. He waves as he watches you leave. You quickly look away, focusing on driving. Your grip on the driving wheel makes your knuckles pale. That wasn't so bad, I guess. But I never got a chance to ask what happened to my usual counselor. He probably died. Her? I forgot about you. Looks like you're finally awake. Oh no, this is the counselor, isn't... I briefly considered removing the gag from the counselor's mouth before backing away. It's truly a shame that you don't carry your office keys with you, good sir. I had to bring Morgan to this dingy parking garage that I set up last minute. Oh well. Kneeling down in front of the counselor, I tied the plastic bag I held over his head. Well then, it should take a while for you to suffocate to death. Why don't I go over and what I learned today while we wait? Taking a seat in the middle chair, I flipped for the notes I took during the counseling session. Morgan, I can't wait to see you again. Ending 2, see you next time. Shush, you... Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. You kicking him in the face as hard as you can. Morgan lets out a grunt when you kick him, but his grip remains tight as he drops his full weight on your back, pinning you down. Shush, he whispers, pressing the cloth to your nose and mouth. You try to hold your breath, thrashing and struggling to get him off of you, but it's futile. Eventually, it feels like your lungs will burst. You inhale the sweet scent on the cloth, feeling a slight headache and dizziness as sleep overtakes you. Ending 4. You need more counseling. We didn't even get a epilogue to that. Dang. Well, that's fine. That was Dr. Morgan's counseling session, and I didn't really feel enlightened about my anxiety, but at least we know our counselor is long gone, and all we have now is a stalker, to rely on. So that's all fun and games, but hopefully that doesn't happen in real life. Anyway. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode video. Goodbye.